Inflate Deflate is an Astute Graphics tool for Adobe Illustrator that moves art objects further apart or closer together without changing their size. The motion can be constrained horizontally or vertically, and to the general constrain angle in your preferences. And there's also an optional warp factor that can create special effects. Inflate Deflate is part of the ColliderScribe plugin, and you can check your Astute Manager to make sure ColliderScribe is installed. You'll find Inflate Deflate in the Advanced toolbar, and it's stacked under Illustrator's main selection tool. And I'll click on this edge to get a tear-off tool panel so I can keep the tools handy. To begin using the tool, select your objects, then get the Inflate Deflate tool, and notice a red crosshair annotation appears centered in your selection. Now you can drag to move the art outwards from that point or inwards without changing the scale of the objects. We're only changing the space between them, and we can even overlap them like this. It's that simple. Normally, the Inflate Deflate tool moves grouped objects as one unit. So here you can see the blue circles, which are in groups, have retained their spacing, while the white circles, which are not grouped, have spaced apart freely. You can use the G key to change the setting on the fly. So once you've moused down, tap G on your keyboard, you'll see the cursor change to Ignore Groups, and tap G again to toggle back and forth. I've set it to Ignore Groups, so now all objects are spacing independently, regardless of whether they're in a group, a nested group, or a clipping mask. So the Inflate Deflate tool is simple to use, but very powerful. And to see all the options, let's open the Astute Buddy panel by going to the Window menu, Astute Graphics, and Astute Buddy. Here's a selection of objects, and the Inflate Deflate tool is active. And there's the red crosshair annotation in the center. And when I hover over it, I can see the options for setting the transformation point appearing in the Astute Buddy panel. So you can drag the red crosshair to move it to another location, and shift-clicking on the crosshair resets it to the center of your selection. Here, when I mouse down and start to drag the tool, we see a different list on the Astute Buddy panel. This time, it's showing modifier keys for transforming the art. And this shows me that to move objects horizontally, I'll hold the Shift key while using the tool. Then to move objects vertically, we can use the Command key on a Mac or Control on Windows. But again, make sure that you've moused down and are moving the Inflate Deflate tool first to avoid switching tools when you press and hold Command or Control. And this moves objects vertically. The Option or Alt key duplicates the selected objects to the new location instead of just moving them. And you can see how the cursor changes as I do that. You can also transform along the constrain angle, which you can set in your preferences. Mine is set to 30 degrees, and when I'm using the Inflate Deflate tool, I can then press Shift and Command or Control and transform along that 30-degree angle. You can also add a warp factor as you transform the selection, which controls the spacing gradually across your objects to create amazing dimensional effects. Here I have a pattern of circles in gradated colors, and as you work with the tool, you can use the up and down arrow keys on your keyboard to increase or decrease the warp factor, a setting which controls how bulged or pinched the results are. Tapping the arrow keys changes the warp factor incrementally, and we can see that noted next to the cursor. And you'll find other options for controlling the warp factor on the Astute Buddy panel. Play around with this. It's really amazing what you can do. There are so many creative and practical uses for Inflate Deflate. Here I'm adding more space within this flock of ducks by transforming horizontally, holding Shift. And it even works inside of pattern editing mode, so you can change the spacing between motifs in your pattern without scaling them. And if we look at this coin example, here's a practical use of the warp spacing, where the ridges get closer together toward the outer edges to add a dimensional effect. I'm sure you'll find so many great ways to use this. Now, let's take a quick look at the preferences, so just double-click on the Inflate Deflate tool to open them. Here again is the option for honoring or ignoring groups, which we were also able to change on the fly using the G key. And we have other options for fine-tuning how the tool works. Here you can click on the question mark icon And this opens the help documentation in your Astute Manager. Inflate Deflate, a transformational tool from Astute Graphics for Adobe Illustrator. It's simple to use, yet so powerful, perfect for moving art objects further apart or closer together without changing their size.